Ask me about my wiener. Ask me about my wiener. Hey, ask me about my wiener. Do you know what movie that's from?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm Scott. We're at Porcos at 22nd and Washington Avenue. I run a company called Pastramsky's, and today we're gonna make some hot dogs.
Let's see how the sausage is made.
Yes, you want to see the sausages being made? So, first thing we're gonna do when it comes to making hot dogs, sometimes we gotta get our beef. We'll cut it, we'll cube it, and then we'll freeze it. We'd like to make sure our beef is nice and chilled for the grinder. It makes everything a lot more easier to run through the process of that. My handwriting is atrocious, but don't worry, the hot dogs are delicious. So step 2 in the hot dog process is once we have our meat nice and well chilled, we'll pull it out and we will run it through the grinder, and we'll get that nice and rounded up. Is this
Great.
good for you?
Yeah, perfect.
Step 3 is we're gonna season our beef, because what's a hot dog without a little bit of seasoning? So we're gonna season it with our special hot dog seasoning blend. And then we're gonna mix it really well and make sure we wanna get it nice and tacky so that it's like all incorporated very well. And step 4 is the fun part, where we're gonna take our beautifully seasoned hot dog mixture and actually make hot dogs. We're gonna put it through the sausage stuffer, and let's create some links, Let's link up. To link up. Let's go. This is the guy that pays the bills, by the way, just so you were wondering. This is,
Pay the bills.
pays the bills. That's Chad. That's Captain Chad Sparrow over there, because he recently just survived a white squall. Where were you, in the Pacific?
I was in the Atlantic.
He was in the Atlantic.
It wasn't squall, it was just a lot of rain and no wind.
A lot of rain and no wind, because you need wind for the sails to make the sails move.
To sail.
Yeah.
You need wind to sail, and when you're in the middle of the ocean and there's no wind, you just bob like shark food.
So today we're going to use a beef brisket. We're going to make all beef hot dogs. And when I do my all beef hot dogs, I really like to use brisket just because it's got a good amount of fat on it, which I can trim off as much or as little as I like, and I'll use it for brisket tallow or whatever. But either way, it makes for a good fat to meat ratio for the hot dog. So let's get this trimmed and cubed up. Sometimes the colder the meat, the better. The more chilled, just less strain on your meat grinder. You don't want to overwork your meat grinder, So in barbecue, usually you'll still trim off a lot of this. This is the flat of this is where all your lean parts would be for a smoked brisket. This would be most of your moist spots, and I know we don't like to use that word moist, but I think it's fine. We're talking about food here. We're not talking about anything else. Moist brisket is a good brisket. We are going to trim a little bit of it off and get it ready for the freezer. And then we're just gonna get this cubed up and ready for the grinder. Cut to the cubing.
Yeah, if you want to get a couple pieces cubed up.
Come out with a tray with 1 cube on it.
Yeah.
Let's get to hot dog making. So these pieces are obviously too big. We're gonna really get nice cubes. Just think of it if you were making like a beef stew or something like that. You basically, again, it all comes down to making it easier for your machine to do the work that it's supposed to be doing for you. You don't want to give it like a whole buffalo and try to run it through. Although you probably could. I don't know how the buffalo would feel about it, but you definitely want to cut the pieces a little bit smaller. So the meat's been chilling in the freezer for about 30 minutes or so. Like, again, we don't need it to be rock hard. But more chilled, the better. It just, again, it makes things a lot easier to run through your meat grinder. Hi. Okay.
Got the chilled meat.
Chilled meat, and we're ready for the grind. Because of how hot the machine can get, the more cold elements that you can incorporate into like the process of sausage making and hot dog making, the better. So we've had our grinder pieces in the freezer for a couple hours now. They're ice cold. Your meat is going to be going through it like it's going to flow like the rivers of Babylon. Let's just say that. don't use that.
Because you pull it like German's a bad one. And then
What else flows really well? I really like this one. It has like a nice compartment for some of like the blade accessories and the auger and whatnot. Sometimes I'll put like little knickknacks in there to remind me why I'm making these hot dogs, but we won't go into that. But let's go ahead and put this machine together.
it's called meat.
Meat, yeah. So it's their website is Meet Your Maker. They do like a lot of really cool meat making processes. They have accessories for making your own jerky. I love their grinder system. They have like this what they call a dual blade setup. Basically, it makes it so you don't have to run the meat through the grinder twice. I really love their products, and I've been making sausages and hot dogs with them for a couple years now. Meat, I love your stuff. All right, so once you got all the meat well chilled, you can just load up your machine and start grinding. As you can see, that the 1.5 horsepower on the meat really makes short work. You could probably pass through a whole buffalo in this in 40 seconds if you wanted to. I don't know how the buffalo would feel about it, but you know, he's gonna find out. So we are here to make hot dogs today, but honestly, like this is an awesome blend for a burger. Like if I were cooking for myself, a nice 8 ounce of one of these bad boys, a little bit of peppercorn, salt, right on the grill. Like that's a really awesome burger right there. But today we're making hot dogs. So just picture it in this way and there you go. Let's go make some hot dogs. The key to a really good pastrami is the pastrami rub, and we're not skimping on anything. So here we have pastrami rub a la Pastramskys. So we have a little bit of coriander, toasted mustard seeds, brown sugar, paprika. Yeah. A lot of my fond memories are when my dad would take me to New York. The one place we would always go to when we would go to New York, Katz's Deli. So my ideal sandwich is a pastrami on rye. And because I like making hot dogs, I figured let's try and make a pastrami Reuben hot dog. So we're gonna do some nice Gruyère cheese in the meat mixture. We're gonna top it with a slaw topping and some really nice Gulden's mustard. And we're just gonna put it on a really nice brioche hot dog bun that we get from Baker Street Bread Company. So in this episode of Playing With Your Meat, we have our meat mixture. We've gone ahead and added our really nice Gruyère cheese to the meat mixture. And what we're gonna do is just kind of work it. We wanna get it to a point where it's got all the seasoning really well incorporated, but we also want it to get to a point where it's just kind of like sticking to your hand a little bit. That's called like the tackiness. That's where it's going to just like be all one kind of like piece of mass to run through your sausage grinder, because if it was too wet or if it was too crumbly, it's going to create air pockets in the sausage links, and you don't really want that, because it's just when you go to cut it, sometimes that meat can kind of just like crumble out. But we're going to go ahead and work this up a little bit just for a few minutes. You really want to make sure it's well incorporated, because again, you don't want like any like little granules of spice that's not like mixed throughout well. So once you get it to this point, it's nice and sticky. We call it, again, it's tackiness. You're good to go, and we're ready to link up. How many times can I say that? Let's link up.
What do they call that? You got a name for that.
Yeah, that's called when you leave your sausage tuffer unattended. Sometimes, and you don't rewind the crank a little bit. Sometimes you got a little dinky sausage that creates itself on its own. You know, nature finds a way. Is that what Goldblum says? Yeah, I'm just trying to think of the Jurassic Park. Nature finds a way. Yeah. And today we're going to use hog casings for our hot dogs today. I really like how big you can get them to make. Hog casings are just naturally just a little bit wider, gives you a little bit girthier of a sausage, so to speak. So they've been soaking really well in warm water. We gave them a nice rinse. We got all the salt out of there, and we're going to go ahead and put them on our feeding tube. More water, the better. You want to keep everything nice and pretty well lubricated. So just take a little water and just kind of rub your feeding tube. Everyone always gives me that look when I do this. Then we're just gonna put our casing on there, pretty much like an old man sock. And with this amount of casing, we'll probably be able to get like 20 to 30 hot dogs out of it. So, and then we just tie off the end here, all right, cut off the excess, and then we get to cranking. So I do like the hand cranked sausage casings or sausage stuffers better, just because the electric ones, I could never keep up with it. Unless I have an assistant here with me the whole time, I prefer controlling the speed myself with a hand crank. So all I'm really doing is guiding the meat on there and just gently pushing it back so that the whole tube fills up, and just gently pushing it back so that every square inch of this casing is filled up with a nice tasty hot dog. Because what you don't want is to just let it loosely fill up, because then you're just gonna have some loose skin on there, which we don't want. This just like controlling your sausage, really. I don't know if there's a technical term for it, but once I get all the sausage cased up, I'm gonna go back through it and then make the individual links by just spinning them around, which you'll see in a second. I don't have much practice tying up balloons, but for some reason, I did get pretty good at tying sausage casings. Go figure. I don't know why, but it's essentially the same thing. Then we're just gonna cut off some excess. When we go to cook this little bit here is gonna be crispy enough. We'll just kind of cut that off later. Then we're at step 4. Look at that, we're at step 4. We're getting ready to make hot dogs. Now comes the other fun part. You get to go through it all, and we're basically gonna turn this really nice long piece of sausage into individual hot dogs for you to enjoy. So what I usually like to do, I picture like 6 to 7 inches. That's what everyone usually likes.
That's what she said?
I guess. Yeah, I guess that's a good one.
I'm like literally laughing like a child.
I thought you had a business.
So many jokes.
I'm on an important business call and all I'm hearing is sausage. So all we're really going to do here is gently pinch the dogs, and we're going to twist to create the different links, and then we're going to go through the whole link like that. So as I'm doing it, when I spin one hot dog one way, the next one will always be the other way. That way the different twists don't come undone. And again, I'm just kind of like visualizing my buns. And then, like I said, so I just do this action to get them linked up. And again, I'm just gently pinching here.
Right.
I'm not going, yeah, because you don't want it to bust. If it does bust, it's usually okay, but I try not to have any ruptures. These are going to be really good ones. This is a really nice batch of for our pastrami hot dogs. So, and then there we go. Then we have hot dogs. So coil all these up. Then we very quickly have our sausages on there. And what I'll usually do before I cook these off, I like to let them chill so that the casing has a chance to adhere to the meat a little bit, and that way you reduce your amount of air pockets. But we'll give it like a half hour in the fridge, and then those will be ready for the oven, or you can throw these on your grill. If you wanted to use a smoker, I would say 30 minutes at like 200 or 240. But basically just treat them like a hot dog. Cook them to like 160, 165, and you got yourself a tasty dog. So now we're just separating our links, and then from here we can kind of cook them off to order or do a whole bunch of them. But basically this is how we get our portions out of it. So when they say you have the term sausage fingers, this is what they mean. This is what they're talking about when you have sausage fingers. In this case, hot dogs. So here we have our pastrami hot dogs, and they're ready for the oven or the grill or the smoker or whatever you want to use them for. Again, you can eat them raw if you wanted. No, don't do that. But let's get these in the oven roasting for you guys to try. So we're gonna go ahead and pop these in our deck oven. And we have this thing pretty high at 600 degrees. These will be cooked in about 10 to 12 minutes. But again, you just wanna check, make sure whenever you're dealing with like raw ground beef, just cook it to 165 just to be safe. So after about 10 to 12 minutes, we have some beautifully ready to eat, ready to enjoy hot dogs. And let's go ahead and get these all decorated up for you. So when we get an order for it, what I like to do is just give them a quick sear, give them like a nice, like, because I really like that on a hot dog. Just, I don't know, it seals the deal for me. And while these are getting like a good sear, I'm gonna go ahead and assemble the buns. So let's make the first one just the classic. Really good mustard, a really good bun, and a fucking incredible hot dog. How about that? So be generous with your mustard. I don't know what you like on your hot dog, but I love mustard. So again, I really fell in love a couple years ago with the brioche hot dog bun from Baker Street Bread Company, which, believe it or not, is right down the street from here. But when I was first having it, they had like a cafe slash bakery in Germantown. And I've been using their hot dog buns ever since. They're really, really good. And they hold up to like the size of the hot dogs that I make here. So, and there you have a homemade all beef brisket hot dog on a brioche bun with a really good Gulden's spicy brown mustard. Hey, Chad, I need someone to taste test something. You got 30 seconds to eat a hot dog? Bad time to be asking after. I'm sealing the deal on this big major conglomerate. Where the fuck is he at? Is the very first version 2.0 because I had one earlier. This is a pastrami hot dog.
This is
made with all beef, and we're gonna go ahead and take a bite. I guess I don't know. Is that what the kids are saying these days? Just take a bite.
Take a bite. Oh, well, that's fun.
So there's like bits of Gruyère cheese laced throughout it too.
A little messy on the mustard.
Well, all right. I'm a fucking mess. All right, let's move on to the next one. You know, I never fucking mentioned I did actually work in a diner. Back in the day, it was owned by a Jewish couple, country club diner in the Northeast. It was one of my first professional cooking jobs where I was called the salad boy. And my job was to get all the dinner rolls ready to go. I was, you know, in charge of filling up like 60 of these of sour cream for the baked potatoes, cranberry sauce, and that's all I would think about. I was so excited back in the days to do that in high school that I would willingly take 7th period lunch so I could leave school early just to get to work, just to do that. And here I am making my own hot dogs. So in true diner fashion, what we would do for Reuben's back in the day, actually, you'd put the meat on the plate, like an oval plate, probably sometimes with the bread, probably sometimes not. What you would do back then is just kind of pop it in the microwave, hit 30, and call it a day, and just scoop it onto the bread. But we're gonna go a little bit nicer than that. So we have our all beef pastrami hot dog with a little extra pastrami on the side. And we're gonna go ahead and put some nice Gruyère cheese on that and pop it in the oven for a few seconds. So after a few seconds, we got the cheese nice and gooey, got our pastrami nice and hot. The hot dog is ready to be plated up. Let's get it together. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and nestle this beauty right on the bun here. Top it with our pastrami. Again, so you're getting a double whammy of pastrami here. Not only is the hot dog itself taste like pastrami, but we're gonna go ahead and top it with smoked pastrami. Then we're gonna finish it with a little cabbage slaw. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what you all came to see. This is the pastrami dog by Pastramskys.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
All right.
If I did my job right, it should feel like you're eating a pastrami on rye. And in this case, a glizzy on rye.